Hi, guys. I'm Brianna Anderson,
And I'm Laurel Huston.
and this is the Bougie Boardroom, where luxury meets leadership. Mentoring for women ready for wealth embodiment, strategy, and soulless sparkle. And today's episode is Witch Wounds. What are they really? So, Laurel, I'm actually going to let you kick this conversation off if that's all right. Tell us
Mhm.
about witch wounds, where they come from, and really what they are.
So, my first introduction to witch wounds was actually when I started studying Tantra. And I was like, what is it? What is this? And so I had heard of the mother wound, the father wound, the sibling wound, all of those things, but I'd never heard of the witch wound before. So I
Mhm.
dove deep because you know that that's what we do. So, in like a definition, a witch wound is on our DNA. So, it's not as much. Programming in our everyday life as much
Mhm.
as something that is passed down generational on our DNA. So,
Okay.
an ancestral wound of persecution,
Mm.
or death, so abuse, death related to money,
Mm.
religion, and expansion.
Mm.
So a witch wound, and so this is where we're going to get a little bit historical for a second. And one of my favorite books that I tell people is called Healing the Witch Wound. And oh crap, I should have looked up the author. Um,
Healing the witch wound.
Healing the Witch Wound. It's green. Let me look in my library really quick.
I love this witch wound.
It, anyway, so I'll keep talking while I'm looking. So the witch wound, though, is not specific to women, but definitely affects
Women.
women deeper. Um, Come on. By Celeste Larson, S-E-N.
Larson.
Okay,
Okay.
so Healing the Witch Wound by Celeste Larson. Sorry, I should have looked that up before. Okay, so the big difference with this is most people have one,
Mhm.
especially entrepreneurs, but they don't realize it until they're told, hey, I bet you have a witch wound. So, listeners and Brianna, tell me if you have felt this as you have tried to expand to your next level, really, of anything, your next level of money, your next level of connection with the God of your understanding, the next level of passion or creating something and being seen in the world because of it. So it is a fear of being seen or heard, specifically as different from
Hmm.
everyone else. So it's our fear of our own uniqueness, not trusting our inner voice, our body, our intuition,
Hmm.
and feeling like it's not safe to follow spontaneity. It's not safe to do the thing that doesn't make sense to everyone around us.
Hmm.
That's part of the witch wound.
Hmm.
Hiding gifts, talents, or abilities that would make you special. And here's the weird part about this. We
Hmm.
all want to feel special, so we develop certain gifts, talents, and abilities, and we get so masterful at them, but then we hide that we're good at it.
Yeah.
That's a witch wound. Um, Having let's see, having patterns or traditions
Mhm.
that you don't agree with, but you cling to for safety.
Okay. I can see that.
So this shows up a lot, and I'm going to use an odd example of this. Marketing.
Hmm.
Marketing is a place that if you go outside traditional marketing and you're like, okay, I'm not going to deal on pain points. I'm not going to do false scarcity. I'm not going to create a special that's not really a special and be like, normally this is $2,000, but if you get it today, it's only 20. Like, and
Hmm.
you're like, I'm not going to market like that. And then you're like, but I don't know how to market. I've got to follow these gurus.
Hmm.
That's your witch wound showing up. You stepping outside of the circle and literally feeling that you will come to harm
Hmm.
because you're not following the norm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever felt any of those?
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm like reflecting in my life. I'm like, oh, okay. There's just now terminology to it. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, so the reason I love teaching people about this is because it's one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of times, a witch wound, have you ever had a bruise, but you didn't know you had a bruise until someone said, what happened? And then they poke your bruise. And you're like, oh my gosh,
Yep.
yeah, what? And they're like, you have a bruise right there. That to me is
Mm-hmm.
a witch wound. But now that you know you have a bruise there, you're like, oh, well, I should probably do something about that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I have a
And
cut I didn't know about. All right, well, now I'll clean it. I'll take care of it. Once you see your witch wound, you never unsee it and it heals quickly.
I love that belief. That part. I hope everyone heard what she just said. It can heal quickly. So I guess the next obvious question I want to ask next then is when you're aware of this witch wound, and I'm going to go personal. I hope that's cool with you. Let's just
Mhm.
expose where we're at and why we would even talk about this, right? There's like obviously relatability to it. So how did you heal that witch wound after looking at it and after yours being poked so much, right? How did you heal that for you?
Oh, this is beautiful. So part of it was just a really, really simple thing. And it's one of those things that I tell people. And it's so simple, but it's not easy. And so they kind of raise their eyebrow at me. Okay, so here's where I started. I started reconnecting to my body.
Mm-hmm.
And when my body gave me a hesitation or a resistance in a place that I normally did not feel resistance, I listened to it, even when it didn't make sense, because our body cannot lie, and everyone's body is a natural lie detector. But we are
Mm-hmm.
taught at a very young age to not listen to our body anymore. And this is things like when you say, I'm full, and your parents say, eat everything on your plate. Or you say, I have to go to the bathroom, and someone says, hold it.
Mm-hmm.
So at a very, very young age, we start disconnecting from our body speaking to us.
Yeah. Right.
And then when all of a sudden we get these big, huge, intuitive, I cannot not see this messages. So I tell people if you listen to your body when it whispers, it won't feel the need to scream.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
When you start to listen to the small, intuitive hits and nudges, even things like, I'm thirsty, not hungry, please give me water, not food.
Mm-hmm.
If you can listen to your body that precisely,
Feel
and
more.
I'll be honest, like I'm not a master at this. There's still times where I'm like on there's two Twix in a package and I'm eating the second one and I'm like, oh, I didn't actually want this. Oh, I'm actually needing comfort. I'm actually just bored right now. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is still something that but here's the cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my body knows that I am trying to listen to it and I am trying to understand it, it
Mm-hmm.
talks to me more often and gentler.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to answer more succinctly, what does this have to do with business and how I healed my witch wound? Because I had to stop seeing myself as inherently flawed.
Yep. Right there. Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, that's the foundation of all things, right? Like you can't really grow if you're dealing with a broken crack in the foundation. So what I hear you saying is your body became the foundation. And then what I hear you really saying is you stopped believing anything was wrong with your foundation or you inherently, like you're not inherently flawed.
Hmm.
Yeah, that probably changed business a lot, right?
Hmm.
And money.
Hmm.
You mentioned something in the beginning that it's like with religion and it's with money, and it's all of these things that ask us basically to stand out. And the paradox that we want to be special, but then we're not sure what that consequence is. And so I'm curious how that looks like, or what that did for you after healing, what your business then looked like after. I mean, you've been in entrepreneurship for decades. So, like, did you
Hmm.
see a direct, oh my gosh, this is crazy, but this is now changing and working for me?
So much so. So, for those who don't know, so when I very first started my business, it really was traditional personal development. It was mindset, it was goal setting,
Hmm.
it was traditional male personal development. And then I
Hmm.
had a baby. And then
Hmm.
I was like, I cannot wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just nursed my baby at 4:30. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden I was like, oh, personal development is not is not the same thing that women need.
Yes.
And so I started my business
Hmm.
in a place where I was like, okay, here's the normal society sink. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Successful people wake up at 5 a.m. And I went, nursing moms don't. Nursing
No.
moms go to sleep. If you
Yeah.
want to develop personally, get rest. Tell
Yeah.
people to help you. Don't ask them for help. Say, I need you to do this. Give
Hmm.
and so but that so my business started with me being like, okay, here's what people have said for the last century.
I don't
If
believe
you
it.
want to be successful and you're a woman, don't do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Mm,
here's the, oh, it gave me something special. It was my niche, but it was also very terrifying because um, women were like, oh, this is such a breath of fresh air. There's my specialness. Oh, yay, yay, yay. Then in walked someone who didn't like what I had to say.
mm,
This primal fear of, I will get burned at the stake.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was like, and then I would hide. So I would have these big breakthroughs. And then I was like, oh no, someone questioned me. And I don't have a resource for you. This is just 100% like channeling, intuition, instinctive. And every person in this room can feel the truth of it until you spoke. And now they're not doubting me, they're actually doubting themselves. How dare you?
Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to heal that, one, I had to be okay with people not liking me.
Yeah. It
And
sounds
again,
simple, but it's
simple, not
simple.
easy.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I got okay with people not liking me. And
Mm-hmm.
then I actually had to look at evidence and I was like keeping a journal. Where did I show up different today than everyone else? And I'm still alive.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Here's the I'm gonna like jump to the deep core of this. Where have I been falsely accused, judged, or misunderstood
Mm-hmm.
and survived?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
the core of the witch wound, no one, they didn't burn witches, they burned women. They burned women who were successful, independent, that they were free thinkers, that they did not rely on the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so it shows up in modern times with, oh, I feel misunderstood. And when I feel misunderstood, it literally feels life-threatening to me that people don't understand me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Because back in the burning times, a woman who wasn't understood, or I'm going to say it a different way, a woman who was misunderstood,
Mm-hmm.
literally could be killed just because people didn't understand her weirdness.
Yeah. I'm just
A,
thinking.
a
Yeah.
woman who was, this is another place it shows up in sensuality or feeling safe to be seen as sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Because women who turned down men in power were also burned because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I don't want to do that with you or to you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, then I will burn you at the stake. Like I'm oversimplifying it, but these are real things that we feel in our body.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just the acknowledgement of the history too. It's like, okay, so it might be 2026 today and AI is here and all those things, but that doesn't discount the fact that the history genuinely, I mean, back then was this is real. And to believe that there's DNA from your mom and your grandmother, and then it goes back into centuries, it's like, this is where I think the real healing happens. And I think that if you're looking, like you said, for business growth or personal growth, it has to become personal. And you have to be okay with finding this. What I hear you saying is you have to be okay with finding safety at a personal level because personal development can't give you that.
Mhm. I tell my clients all the time, safety is an inside job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I connect my body first is what does safety actually feel like in
Yeah.
my body? Is safety
Mm-hmm.
warm? Is it tight? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it the exhale? So
Yeah.
Brianna, what does safety actually feel like in your body? So for Brianna and for everyone, think
Mm-hmm.
of a time when you recognized I am safe right now. I'm mentally safe, I'm physically safe, I'm spiritually safe, I'm sexually safe, I'm safe.
It just feels really relaxed. I mean, it's the vibration for me personally, since you're asking, it's the vibration of what I think many would hope money would give them. It's the more than supported. It's the exhale. It's like I'm so safe. And it's not like hunched over shoulders, but it's definitely that support of like I can lean and it's not going to collapse. That's what safety feels like.
So I love that you mentioned it's not the falling of shoulders. A lot of people when they feel safe, one of the reasons they feel safe is because they dropped all the burdens that aren't theirs to carry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it does actually affect our posture. Our shoulders do like
Relax. Yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
Yes. So I
Right.
love that you said that. And that is for those that are listening, if you don't understand what it feels like in your body to feel safe, not just think, oh, I'm safe right now, nothing's attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But does your body actually understand the sensation of safety?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you then go to post on social media or put an offer out there or tell your family who's supposed to support you that you're starting a business, if you don't have internal safety, you will not feel safe in the external world.
You won't do it. And as you're talking, I think it's so interesting because I've never heard this before, and this is totally intuition. So here we go. That's the conversation we're having. But it's like it's so fascinating to me how many terms get thrown around. Like, for example, quantum leaps. It's like you're never going to leap not knowing that there is, like a foundation on what it is you're leaping to, right? And just it's this whole safety mechanism, but it's the witch wound that says, like, if we leap, if we go there, are we going to be alone? Are we going to be killed? Are we going to be supported? Are we going to be judged? Or it's all of the minds like, right? But I'm telling you, like, this would have collapsed probably 5 years of my journey had I understood why it took me so long to just do a few things. So I just want to validate what's happening with other people too.
And so, practical things. Let's get practical for a second. Journal.
Mhm.
And the journal prompt that I would say is, what rule do I follow?
Mm,
Not because I believe it, but because I fear the consequence.
yeah. Hmm.
So, what rule do I follow? Not because I believe it, but because I fear the consequence.
Hmm.
Because that is literally your witch wound and your generational pattern. And if you want to really dive deep into this, give it different categories. Have
Hmm.
that journal prompt about gender roles, have that journal prompt about religion or belief systems, have
Hmm.
that about government, about community, about money, about sex and intimacy, about your relationship with your body. What are the rules that you are following? And I don't call them false beliefs because most of the time we don't actually believe it.
Hmm.
We just fear the consequence of it. So we take action accordingly. So, what are rules are you following? Not because you believe in the rule, but because you fear the consequence.
Hmm. I think a lot of women can have so much with unpacking that. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to say, can I use one of yours as an example? Because we just talked about this. Author. Brianna is an author. She is a published author. She's
Hmm.
almost done with her second book. But how many times when people say, how are you doing? What are you up to? Is the first thing you say, well, I'm an author and I'm working on my second book.
Hmm. I
We
don't say that often. Often. Like I don't say it often.
go. But what would change in you if you felt safe to be seen and known as an author?
Hmm. I think the awareness that comes to mind is like I mean, it's so fascinating you're asking that on the spot because it's like behind conversation is different, right? But the safety to tell stories and not the stories that are curated, not the stories again, the real stories. And that comes with a sort of responsibility and a sort of weight. And
Mhm.
again, as soon as you ask that, I'm like, oh, it's just safe to tell stories. And it doesn't mean those stories have to be light because there are brutal truths in there that aren't being talked about, right? So I have to be okay with talking about the things that have been taboo for decades, centuries, things like that, to be a voice that says, actually, I'm not willing to be oppressed anymore. And I think that feeds into what you're saying, which is it safe to be all of these things, right?
So, what would happen? Because what you're talking about is the core of the witch wound. Like, okay, if I say the quiet part out loud, what will happen?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, what will happen if you choose to stand up and stand out? That is the when people are like, "What's the block?" When you
Mm.
are working with your witch wound, the
Mhm.
question you need to answer is, what will happen if I choose to stand up and stand out?
Mm. I mean, it's crazy, and I love this. I love this so much because I have a personality that's like bring on the challenge. Not everyone does, but I'm like,
Mhm.
cool. So then let's face the rejection because I think a lot of us women will reject ourselves before we'll reject anything else, right? And I'm like that if we can change the world in women who don't reject themselves because they're so afraid of external rejection, it's like if you have one person in your corner, like you're good. And I don't know that everyone would believe that, but I'm like, I'm good. I just need one person. I don't need the whole country to agree, right? And I think our
Mhm.
witch wounds convince us that we have to be liked by everybody. You said that in your own journey. Like, I don't actually need everybody's validation, right?
Yeah.
One of the most inspiring things to not to put you on the spot, or, but when you're like, hey, like I've crossed six figures and I speak about it openly. I'm like, finally, a woman that will talk about it because it's like, I haven't met someone that can vocalize, I make this money. I do. And I'm like, wow, there is no shame living in a woman that says this is what I make. And it was like my favorite part about that statement is the and with a question mark because it's so confident in its presentation. So I'm wondering if you having to stand out also did the same thing. Like when you're asking me about authorship, is that the same for you with like even money and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean that so with body mapping is a modality that I created from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so knowing that I'm like, okay, this is going to go against a lot of people's programming, but this is what brought me comfort. But I was like, and here's that and there are also going to be a lot of people who this is the missing thing that they've been looking for.
Yeah. Right.
And so with the witch wound and with how this shows up in business, Uh, and not everyone will agree with this statement, but for me, I actually had to say, if I was a man, would I be questioned talking about having a multiple six-figure business? If I
Yeah.
was a man, would I be questioned that I am starting my third business?
No.
If I was a man, would I be questioned if about going out of the country when I still have young kids?
No. I think you'd be celebrated for all three.
Exactly. And so for me, I had to be like, oh, okay, because as I said, although some men do feel the witch wound, it is predominantly women because the majority of people who were burned were women.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other part of this, and I wasn't going to go here, but it came up in conversation. So one of the other big things I had to do is I had to start centering women, not just as my clients and not just, but it was like, okay, when I think of this, I'm not thinking about how will this help men and women. I only think about how will this help women?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How will this help women? And it's not that I don't want men to succeed. I love men.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And they're not my target audience. And I haven't deep dove into what they need.
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, do men have a fear of being seen? Sure. But it's different than because if a man and a woman both had the same wound of a fear of being seen, you wouldn't see so many men jogging in the summer without a shirt on. When you have women who cannot walk down a street at dusk without their keys in their fingers.
Mm. It's different. Yeah.
It's very different. And so it's this innate fear of being seen,
Mm-hmm.
fear of being hurt, not just physical hurt, but emotional hurt. This is um, a lot of people discover their witch wound when they do start to do the emotional work.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, they realize that humiliation and disappointment and betrayal are the emotions that they spend the most time in, but they are so used to being in that emotion, they're not uncomfortable in it.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. They don't like feeling disappointment, but they're like, oh, I'm used to being disappointed. Oh, I'm used to being rejected. So I'm going to reject myself first because I know what it feels like when I reject myself. I don't know what it feels like when someone else rejects me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like co-authorship.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah. So
exhausting.
with money, the fact that we have a podcast telling women how to feel empowered, how to find their voice, how to be independent, and how to have the relationship, have the money, have the health, have the wealth, have all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Listen.
woman that has found us has a witch wound. And I know that that's a very bold statement, but the mere fact that women want their own money, you are activating and I would even say healing your generational line's witch wound.
Yeah.
Women who don't seek after money, they don't seek after being seen, they don't seek after, they're happy hiding. They're
Mm-hmm.
still in their wound. The women that are like, it doesn't feel comfortable yet, but I will figure out how to be seen.
Yeah.
You are healing the witch wound. You are healing it.
Mm-hmm. I also want to add to that the thought that came to mind when you said if they found the podcast. they're also those very same ones, like you said in the very beginning of this call, like you are the original, you are the originators, you are the creatives, you are the visionaries, you are the weirdos. And like, and how much fun do we have being the freaking weirdos when we let go of the stories? Like to pretend that we all want to just have this professional straight cut line is like actually so it's yucky. Some will call that personal development, but like to my nervous system, it's like yuck because you realize the invisible chains that they are, right? And so I think what we're doing too is helping people get like in your gifts. We talked about this last week. Go listen to last week's episode. It was so good. But like when connecting to your gifts too, it's like you are now aware of what your spiritual gifts are. And I can see how you specifically liberate people just when you talk. I'm like, yep, you're the liberator. That's a fact. And I'm here to tell stories that were not always, pretty on the outside. And I love that so much. So my next question for you, and if you have any, I'm down to answer. But what would you say to a woman who's like, okay, I'm now aware I have a witch wound. I now know what the journal prompt is, but what is the, I guess, because you've had a lot of experience with this, even more
Mhm.
than myself. What is the one thing that you think stops us from fully being seen when it's what we want so much?
Mm.
Like, do you know what I'm asking? Like, we want it so bad in our lovers and our partnerships. Like, please just see me and give me your heart and your presence. But yet it's the same thing that says, will my head be cut off? Like, actually, like it's like a paradox. It's the biggest paradox.
It is. And the answer is one that I'll tell women and they just blink, blink at me. When you feel that unseen,
Mm,
it's because what part of you seeing your own greatness scares the shit out of you?
mm, hmm.
So it's that I want to say Marianne Williams.
Yes,
What is our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It is that we are powerful beyond measure. I apologize in advance if I just slaughtered your quote, Miriam.
you did
Um,
it. Nailed it.
but it is that we are so conditioned to believe that we are broken, that we are flawed, that when we actually even start to play around with the thought of saying, maybe I'm not. Maybe
Mm,
at one point I was wounded, but now I'm healed. Like you don't when you break your leg, you don't have a broken leg forever. And in fact, that bone comes back stronger. And so we hear things like that and we're like, I'm gonna go through more pain so I can be even stronger. That is not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is if if all you if all the personal development world and the religious world has taught you is to be self-aware, but it sends you in a shame spiral. That's not self-awareness, that's self-abuse.
yeah. Hmm.
And when we can get to the point where we actually see ourselves, it no longer and the quote unquote good and the bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, there are people in this world who see me as beautiful. There are people in this world who see me as ugly. Are there days that I would agree with both of them?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I no longer fear whether or not people see my beauty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
There are people in this world, Brianna, that would say, you are so kind. And there are people in this world that would say, she is so vengeful.
She's a biatch. Yep.
There. And so it's like, can I be okay with being seen as both of those by other people?
Hmm.
And can I admit that, yeah, I see those qualities in myself? We were talking about this. We're name dropping a whole bunch of names here. Oh, the dark side of the light chasers.
Debbie. Debbie
Debbie
Ford.
Ford.
Dark
She's
Side of the Light Filters. Yeah, go get that book, you
yeah.
guys.
Go
Like,
get that book too. When you can see all of you, you no longer how other people see you.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the mindset part of it.
Hmm.
The next thing is the body part of it because a lot of people will say your mind creates your reality, and I say no, it doesn't. Your nervous system does because your mind can say over and over again, it's safe to be seen as a wealthy woman. But does your body relax into that, or does your body tense up at the mere thought of someone seeing you as wealthy?
Yeah.
So this is why the witch wound really has to be healed in the body. It
Hmm.
can't just be mindset. Things that I do, and I okay, how do I want to say this? On the days that I literally want to hide are the days that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to hide, but who do I feel safe to be seen by?
Yes, that, yeah.
So it's the baby steps. It's the I would love to be witnessed in my emotion.
Hmm.
Am I even willing to look at myself in the mirror as I cry?
Hmm.
So in all these places that we want to be seen, are you willing to see yourself do it?
Yeah, right.
Are you willing to so with business, when I first started launching body mapping, I was so grateful that Facebook was baby book. Like it was so young. It was so young. And if there were 200 people that followed you on your Facebook page, that people are like, "Oh my gosh, you have over 100 people." And you're like, "I know." And now if you don't have millions, Facebook won't like even help you out kind of thing. So, but it was like, okay, do I feel safe to be seen as a speaker?
Hmm.
Sure, on certain topics.
Hmm.
Do I feel safe to be seen as is the next place for this.
Hmm. Yeah.
So what do you feel safe to be seen as, Brianna?
A speaker and an author. And I'm even gonna just own this and claim this now, but like I think it takes someone who does think outside the box to claim
Mhm.
that they are a thought leader. And I used to hide behind that because it's like, oh, you say you want to be an influencer. And it's like, again, back to having to justify why you want what you want or try to help people understand your words by what you mean by that. Like influencer to you does not mean influencer to me, but vice versa, right? And
Mhm.
so to answer your question, it's like, no, I feel really, really good about leadership, even. Like that is one of my favorite words. Is like, I'm no problem going first. I have no problem facing the dark. I have zero problem being on the front line. Zero problem with that. Where I recognize there's other people that are like, please let me be in the back. And honestly, there's light in that too, right? And so I think that what comes to mind is the law of relativity. And
Mhm.
the law of relativity is so profound because if you understand what it's trying to say, comparison is actually one of our greatest superpowers. But as humans, we misuse it. We misuse it because I'm not where she is, so I'm going to put myself down. And we unconsciously suppress us by external views, like you just said. It's like 1 million followers on Facebook, and it's like, dude, the fact that you're even showing up online might be your first win. But the law of relativity is really just saying if you're willing to stay in your own lane, like
Mhm.
truly and honestly, and just see the success you've personally had based on your circumstance, your resources, your relationships, your trauma, your genetics, your everything,
Mhm.
you actually see you've been a badass this whole time. But it's like you're saying, sometimes the witch wound needs to be unwound before you can actually be found. And it's like that place of remembrance that like nothing is wrong with you. And so that just felt like it needed to be said for all of us. So thank you. And now I'm going to ask you back now that I'm like, yeah, I am totally safe being seen as an author and a speaker. And now I'm going to ask you, what do you feel safe to be seen as?
I love this. I feel safe, and it took me a long time to get here, but I feel safe to be seen as the woman that has the job she loves, the family she loves, the partner who loves and is obsessed with her, that she's like, I feel good being the woman who has everything she's ever wanted.
Yes. And it inspires us. Isn't that crazy? Our fears. I'm like, I can have it too. So I love this because for those that don't know Laurel, she really does live the life. She walks the talk, and not a lot of people do. So that's just my own perspective. She walks the talk. So when I first met you, I'm like, how do you have it all? Like you really do have it all in my perception of you. And here's what's really cool about that. Again, back to law of relativity. I'm not comparing myself to you.
Mm-mm.
Legacy and Lace is where we help women really understand that collaboration versus competition are two totally different realities. So, do you think it'd be a great idea to invite them into our June event coming up?
I do. And a big reason for this is at the June event because because the witch wound, a lot of us, our witch wound is not trusting other women because women were like, I'm going to turn her in so that no one burns me at the stake. And
Yeah.
so it is one of the reasons why when you go to traditional networking events, that it's like the bros club. And you're like, this is so awkward. And if you are the woman that's going around and passing out all the note cards, like people see you as less relatable. And so Brianna and I were like, okay, how can we help women feel like
Mhm.
they're part of a community and it's a collaboration, even if every single one of us has a different business? And honestly, that's what Legacy and Lace is.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And it is, so just for point of reference, it is February of 2026. So if you are watching this years from now, just Google Legacy and Lace events, or go to the show notes and go to the link that's in there. But this one is June 11th, 12th, and 13th
Yes, correct.
in St. George, Utah.
Okay.
And it is not a traditional networking event. It is come, everyone gets a moment of spotlight because we want to collaborate with everyone. And we want women to be able to look at other women and know that they are not judged, that they are seen as inspiration, not intimidation.
Yeah.
We want, and I am going to kind of like pat us on the shoulder for this, Brianna, because the number one feedback we got back from the one that we did in January was women commenting on, I love how much you and Brianna, like you showed us how it's safe to trust another woman.
I have goosebumps, and that's like legit, guys. I love that because it's like, yeah, and we've said this on every single episode before, and I'm going to say it again because it's just truth. But when you have so many betrayal experiences and so many experiences where you couldn't have trust and it couldn't be found, when you heal this wound within yourself, you realize you heal it for every single woman across from you, next to you, beside you, behind you, whatever, generationally, because it's like now I can sit next to Laurel and be like, I'm not threatened by your light, but the version of me 3 years ago would have been,
Mhm.
because you are living outside of every single rule that I am energetically and unconsciously connected to. And so I think to say that you should be in this room is an understatement.
Mhm.
You guys need to get a ticket for Legacy and Lace. It will sell out. I have no doubt about that. And I really, really love what you just said about the idea that we can work together,
Mhm.
um, and still be sovereign in that co-op, like that cooperative energy. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because a lot of
Yep.
people, I feel like they don't want to commit to things because they don't want to lose themselves. I know I've had that fear before.
Yeah.
And it's like, what happens when an empowering woman combines with another one? And I think the answer is obvious. There's just more light. So,
So one of the thoughts that just came to my head is I'm like, it's kind of like a potluck that you just trust that there will be something there. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know what other people are going to bring. So I'm going to bring the dish that I love to eat that I know pairs well with others. And so if everyone brings their favorite dish,
mhm.
then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, that's such an inspired business. I want to be part of that too. Oh, we both brought macaroni salad, but you have this secret ingredient in yours, and I don't offer that in my business. So let me connect you with someone who's been looking for that, but I don't do that.
Mm,
There were so many times when you or I said to one of the other people there, I
mhm.
know someone who needs to know you. Here is their information.
That, yeah, that.
So
Mhm,
that is the practical way that we heal the witch wound. We
mhm,
actually show I trust you because I trust myself.
mhm. I
I,
have it.
yeah, I see and love that you are shining, and I know you won't burn me.
Mhm. Yes. Mhm. I
Yeah.
feel like we just helped heal the collective in all generations that are on this call. And I just think, yeah, it's just such a powerful conversation. So, with about the last minute or so that we have, is there anything else you feel like our listener needs to hear on this topic, or just energetically with the conversation we've had?
Mm. If you are not part of our paid subscription, do the journaling. If you
Mhm,
are, we're going to do a really fast
mhm.
breath work to actually help release the witch wound from your nervous system.
Ooh,
So do the journal. Do the journal, see what comes up.
love that. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Laurel, for all of your expertise and knowledge in this. And we're so excited. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, share this with your tribe, with your sisters, your women. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Till then, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.